Welcome to Empower Her Health Coaching, where I am here to give you tools and help you to feel empowered on your health journey so that you can navigate your health journey with confidence and just feel good about your future. So I'm here just to give you some realistic tips and some things that you can readily apply to your life and without having to buy supplements or a diet or something like that. And that is specifically what we are focusing on today, is simplifying weight loss or fat loss, however you want to look at it. But we are going back to the basics today. And I, first of all, kind of want to debunk the fact that the diet industry, they have so many things out there. And they are toting things like meal timing, and maybe your hormones are imbalanced. Maybe you need these different supplements, maybe you need this specific diet, and there are so many things that they are talking about that are just these really small pebbles, and they are not what is going to help you truly lose weight and sustain that weight loss. Whether it be a shot, the Ozempic, whatever it is, there are so many things out there and they might help you lose weight. Maybe you get meals shipped to your front doorstep. Maybe you replace your meals with a shake. All of these things are things you can do, but do you want to do it for the rest of your life? And the thing is that a lot of us see these things, we see these headlines, and we think, maybe this is the magical thing I've been waiting for. Maybe this is the specific thing that is wrong with my specific body, and that is why I need this. And the truth, the honest truth, is that lifestyle is always going to trump something that the diet industry is selling you. Lifestyle is the big rocks that you need to put into your bucket first. And if you want to sprinkle some of those pebbles in after, you can. But if you're filling up your bucket with pebbles and then you're trying to put the rocks on top, it's not all going to fit. And it's not going to be sustainable either, because those pebbles are expensive if you're buying them from the diet industry, and they are something that is only going to work so long as you're using them. The keto diet, the paleo diet, a pill, a shake, any of these things, it's only going to work so long as you do it. Any diet that says you have to eat a certain way, it is only going to work for as long as you want to eat that certain way. Now, what I am bringing you today is a lot of things that a lot of us already know, and either we ignore it or we think that there's something else that's even deeper and different, that is this mystery that we don't know about. But honestly, lifestyle, these big rocks, are truly what matter, and if we establish them in our lives, we will not only lose weight, but we will sustain that weight loss. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring out some of those foundations of health that you have heard me talk about many times before. If this is the first time that you have heard me mention this, if this is the first time you've heard me talk, the foundations of health are sleep, movement, nutrition, and stress management. Now, I am going to talk about all of these things and specifically how we can use them for weight loss. And I want to keep it simple today, because honestly, weight loss is simply putting less energy, less calories into our body than our body is burning. That is it. That is weight loss. That is how the majority of diets work. Whether they say they're fat burning, whether you're intermittent fasting and not eating for a certain window of time, the reason they work is because you are putting in less energy than you are burning. Now, we're going to start with sleep, because sleep is queen. Sleep is something that there is this crazy phenomenon that happens if we do not get enough sleep. What happens is we have a hormone called ghrelin. This is our hunger hormone. When we do not get enough sleep, our body produces more ghrelin, making us hungrier. Not only that, but we have another hormone called leptin. This is a hormone that tells us when we are full. When we do not get enough sleep, our body produces less leptin. So off the bat, don't consider anything else about sleep. Right there, that should be enough motivation to help you sleep more. But with sleep, also, when you get sufficient sleep, you're going to help your body not be as stressed out. Whenever you are cutting calories and you are not getting sufficient energy into your body because you are losing weight, your body is naturally going to be a little bit more stressed. And sleep, if you are also cutting sleep short, it is going to be a lot harder to lose weight. Your mind is not going to be able to make as good of decisions. You're not going to have as much willpower over cutting calories. And so right there again, if you get sleep, you will be less stressed out. Your body is going to be producing the right kinds of hormones to help you out. And there is just, with recovery from workouts you're doing, sleep is just one of those things that it needs to stop being ignored, because it is honestly one of the things that we need more than anything else. Getting sleep should be your number one tactic at weight loss. And I know it takes time, but it's honestly one of the easiest ones. And if you're having trouble sleeping, we can talk about some things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep. Having a dark room, making sure all of the lights are out. If you aren't able to control that, you can wear a sleep mask. You can also, if noises are an issue, if you can't have a completely quiet room, then you can use a noise machine and have some white noise playing in the background. You also want it to be cooler. You actually want it to be in the 60s. That's how cool you want your room to be at nighttime. And before bed, you do want to cut out screens about an hour beforehand, and you all want to stop eating about 2 hours before you go to bed. If you can stop drinking about an hour before you go to bed, all of those things are going to help your body calm down. If you want to do some reading before bed, you can listen to an audiobook. Those are really great substitutes for watching a screen before bed, and I've found them to be, I don't even miss looking at a screen before bed if I have that audiobook in my ear. So sleep hygiene improves the quality of your sleep. It helps you get tired when it's bedtime. Magnesium supplements can be an option too if you know that your body needs that. Getting labs is the first thing I recommend, talking to a doctor about that, because not all of us need it, but it is something that the majority of people are a little short on, but it is something you should get checked out first. So sleep, big rock, put that in the bucket first. Get your sleep, make that a priority. And now on to movement. Now movement, we're talking about, the energy we put in versus the energy that we are expending. So when it comes to movement, the more we move, the more we're going to be able to eat, even in a deficit. Because if we're moving more, and then our body is going to be burning more calories. So should I just start doing crazy amounts of calories when I'm trying to cardio when I'm trying to lose weight? Absolutely not. Because you are going to stress your body out more by doing that. If you are already doing some cardio, absolutely, keep doing it. But if you're not doing any cardio, I would say maybe you can add a day or two of some of that low intensity, steady state cardio for 20 to 30 minutes. But the thing with cardio is that it will interfere with your recovery from weightlifting, and weightlifting is going to take priority over cardio, specifically in weight loss, because weightlifting is something you want to do in order to help you maintain your muscle mass. If you are in a caloric deficit, lifting weights, if you are a newbie, you've never lifted weights before, and you are in a caloric deficit, that is the only time you are going to actually be able to put on some muscle while you are losing fat. Other than that, if you have been lifting, if you've been working out regularly, and you are in a caloric deficit, you cannot put on muscle. But you need to lift in order to not lose your muscle mass. Because when we're in a caloric deficit, what happens is our body is going to actually go after our muscle mass before our fat. Because our fat is the storage system that our body tries to hang on to, especially when we're stressed. Because think of caveman times, right? If we are running from a predator and that's what's causing stress, our body's going to try and store fat because there might be some sort of food shortage while we are in this stressed mode. So what we need to do is lift weights and eat adequate protein, which I will get to in the nutrition portion, in order to maintain our muscle mass. Now, will we still lose a little bit of our muscle mass? Yes, but we will lose a whole lot less if we're eating enough protein and we are lifting weights. I would recommend anywhere from 3 to 5 days of lifting weights, specifically in a deficit. And anytime, I mean, lifting weights is just one of those things that is the holy grail, because muscle on our body is so good for so many different reasons. So lifting weights is something I highly recommend when you are losing weight. Walking is another one. Super easy, but we're still moving our body. We are not cutting into recovery. We are not stressing out our body anymore. So walking is amazing. It is one of the first things you should do. If you are not working out right now, taking walks is going to help you tremendously. Now, if you know how many steps you're getting a day, you can absolutely up those steps a little bit when you are losing weight, maybe by about 2,000 steps a day on average. You can do that, but we do not want to add this crazy amount more of movement while you're trying to lose weight, because it's going to, again, stress our bodies out. Now, when you get to about that 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, now when you get to 8 to 10,000 steps a day, that's when there's some crazy health benefits that are happening. But if you're not there right now, just try and increase it a little bit so that you are naturally moving more, naturally burning more calories. And walking is so easy on our body. But again, it's something that takes time. So sleep takes time, walking takes time, lifting takes time. All of these things do take time, and that's why there's such a draw from the diet industry, because a lot of the things they're touting do not take time. They're just something you have to put in your body, and we think we can shortcut things. But you can keep it simple. If you are not lifting weights at all, maybe you do it once a week, maybe you do it twice a week. That is still going to be better than not doing it at all. Maybe you're not getting that many steps. Maybe you're only getting 3,000 steps a day. If you are parking further away at work, if you are taking a walking break, having a walking meeting at work, and you increase your steps by 2,000 steps a day on average, you're still going to be benefiting. So there might be magic numbers out there. There might be, some of these things that are, health recommendations that are out there that are kind of scaring you away. But when it comes down to it, more than you're doing now is going to help your health and is going to help with weight loss too. Again, with sleep too, if you're only getting 5 hours of sleep, getting 6 hours of sleep is going to be a lot better. If you're getting 5 hours of sleep and you say, oh, there's no way I can get 8, I might as well keep getting 5, that's gonna hurt you a lot more than saying, oh, I could get 6 and getting 6. So all of these things, just do better than what you're doing now, and that will help you. We're trying to keep it simple. So we're trying to get as much sleep as possible at night. We're walking, we're lifting. If you are already doing cardio, keep doing it. If you want to add a little bit in, you can. Now with nutrition, we need to know how much food we are eating in some way. We have to be able to track it in some way. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of thinking we're in a caloric deficit, we might not be. Thinking we're doing things right, and we don't know for sure. We might be overcutting it and kind of hurting our thyroid's health. We might be thinking we're in a deficit and not being in a deficit and not losing any weight, but our mind thinks we are, so it's super frustrating. So knowing how much food you are putting into your body is going to be very helpful when you're trying to lose weight. Now, there's different ways you can do this. I know some people counting just really, they can't do it. They get into a restriction mindset and it really hurts them. You can eye portions. Weighing your food, again, it's kind of counting, but having some sort of system to track your food is very important so that you know you are actually eating less food than you were when you were maintaining weight. But food is just such a big piece of the weight loss puzzle. So this is something we really need to focus on. Now, every single diet kind of works the same, whether it's keto, whether it is going low fat, whether it is intermittent fasting, Whole30, Mediterranean diet. I don't care what it is. Some are healthier than others, absolutely, but they all work the same for the people that lose weight on them, and that is they are eating less calories than they are expending. That is the science. Now, when it's, the low fat, high fat, that whole conversation, there is something to that. But honestly, at the end of the day, both parties, if they are losing weight, are doing it in the same way. Ketosis, it's a cool thing, but what happens is we burn more fat, but we actually burn less fat when we're doing activity. So yeah, in a resting state you might be, but when you're exercising, you're actually burning less than the person that has a lot of carbohydrates and is able to burn more fat during exercise, but burns less at rest. So that's just one example of how these diets work. And honestly, some diets work great for people. Some people go on intermittent fasting and they're like, hey, I lost all this weight. I'm able to stick with this every single day. It's the best thing ever. Great. It is for you. But something different will work for everyone. For some people, not having a name to their diet and eating mostly whole, healthy foods, adding in some chocolate, adding in a drink, adding in some packaged products, that it works for them. And you do not have to have a name to your diet. You can choose what works for you. But the thing about weight loss that really matters is that you are eating less energy than you are expending. Now, the quality of your food is definitely going to help on your diet, because if you are having higher quality food, it's usually, and I'm talking fruits and veggies and lean meat, if you are including those things in your diet and you are including some healthy fats too, but not overdoing the healthy fats, that is going to fill your stomach up a lot more than if you are grabbing a bag of chips and you are, having candy and you are having alcohol. Those things are not going to fill you up. You are not going to feel satiated when you are including a lot of those things in your diet, and you're going to honestly feel like you're starving yourself. But if you are having these big salads with lean meat and sweet potatoes and olive oil, that is going to fill you up, and it's going to be a lot of volume of food, and you are going to feel a lot more satisfied even when you are eating a low, or you're cutting calories. And so using that tactic can be so helpful to so many when they are losing weight. Instead of continuing to eat like they were in maintenance, you're adding in some more veggies so you have more volume, so your stomach feels a lot more full than it did, or fuller than it did if you were just eating those higher calorie foods that aren't going to fill you up as much. Absolutely, you can still include dark chocolate. You can still include a drink once in a while. You can include these things, but when it's something you're having every single day and it's taking up the room of some of these healthier, higher quality foods that are going to help your body feel more satiated, that's when, cutting calories is going to get a lot harder. So as far as nutrition, wrapping it up, simplifying it, eating less food than you're expending, and also we're focusing on the quality of food so you can eat more and feel more satisfied throughout the weight loss process. So getting more sleep, walking, lifting, and eating less calories than eating less calories than we are expending out of our body, and the quality of food, making sure that it's good so we can feel fuller. Now, the last thing we are going to focus on is stress management. Stress management is something that is absolutely going to affect our weight loss process, because stress is something that our body, if we feel stressed out, our willpower, our feeling of control, our decision making, all of these things are going to be affected. And also, the hormones within our body are going to not want to let go of weight as easily as if we were in a more relaxed state. So the more relaxed state you are in, the easier it is going to be for your body to kind of let go of some of that weight. Now, when it comes down to stress management, I know a lot of times when I talk about it, it's just people laugh in my face because life is stressful. It is going to be stressful. It's one of those things that stress is unavoidable. But there's two ways that I tell people to approach stress management. One of those ways is building in some sort of stress management technique into your daily life. So I love the analogy of bookending your day with some sort of stress management technique, whether it be morning and evening gratitude, whether it's devotions in the morning and prayer at night. Maybe you are taking a walk in the morning and evening. All of these things are built-in stress management techniques. They are things that are managing your stress. Can be a part of your daily routine. They have a lot of other benefits, and they're going to improve your mental health in other ways, but they're just something that's going to help you manage your stress in your routine. Kind of the preventative stress management. Then we have our stress management that is acute. When the very, very stressful moments hit that we did not expect to hit, how are we going to handle it in the moment? So these are the acute stress management techniques. So it might be something with your kids that's totally unexpected. Maybe they're both screaming. They were in a great mood 5 minutes ago, and now you're sitting there trying to deal with that. You have dinner on the stove. What do you do? Right? This is when the stress is really going to build up. It's going to get really hard. How do we deal with that in the moment? Now, there's a lot of different ways we can handle this, but basically what we are doing, the science behind it, is we are trying to get ourselves from that fight or flight state into our rest and digest state again. And that's our parasympathetic nervous system that we are trying to activate or reactivate so we can get into that relaxed state. Now, in order to activate this, there's different ways we can do that. Taking deep breaths is one of the easiest ones that we can do in the moment. We don't need our hands for it. We don't need to leave. It's something you can immediately do and train your brain to do when you're dealing with some of these stressful situations. Another one, as you're doing it, is pressing on your chest and breathing in and out. It almost simulates giving yourself a hug while you're doing that and saying, I'm at peace, I'm safe, I am loved. And that's one way you can do it. Some people, you breathe in for a shorter amount of time than you breathe out for. And you say, I am. You breathe in for 4. And then as you're breathing out for 6, you say, at peace. And that's a great one too. Some people clench their fist and count to 10. Some people just count while they're closing their eyes. Some people pray. Some people walk around outside. That's something that you have to leave, but walking is something that is going to be activating that PNS or parasympathetic nervous system. So when you have those acute moments, have a few of those in the back of your mind, so when those situations hit and you feel like you are about to get out of control in some way, like you're going to yell, you are going to binge on food, whatever it might be, you have some of those techniques in your back pocket for those acute stressors. So, as a whole, getting back to this simplification of weight loss, I know I talked a lot about all of these different things, but when it comes down to it, we are sleeping, we are moving our bodies more, specifically walking, weightlifting if you can. Nutrition, we are eating less than we are expending. And we're focusing on that quality so we feel fuller and it's not as hard. And then with stress management, we have some tactic that we're doing every single day to help relieve our stress. And then we are also having those tactics in our back pocket for when the very stressful moments hit. So hopefully that simplified weight loss a little bit for you. It helped bring you back to the fact that there are these big rocks that are so foundational in our health in general, but especially like we're talking about today with losing weight and sustaining that weight loss. When these things become a habit in our life, that is what's going to get us to that long-term sustained weight loss that we truly desire. The diet industry is selling us things that might help us be successful for a little bit, but they are those small pebbles that if you want to sprinkle a few supplements in there with the big rocks I was talking about, they might help in a small way. But honestly, those big rocks are where it's at. So hopefully you feel empowered by this conversation. You feel like you have a path that you can take forward if weight loss is your goal. And even if weight management is more of your goal, these things are going to be right there for you in the same way. But I hope you're feeling good about weight loss. I hope you feel like, hey, it's not as tough as I was telling myself. It truly is simple. The act of doing it might be hard, but there's not this mystery that I kept thinking there was. So if you want to vote for what I'm going to be talking about next week, you can go on to my Instagram stories. My handle is @EmpowerHer Health Coaching, and vote for what you want me to talk about next week. I will do some shorts, and then I'll have another deep dive next weekend. You can check out my page also. Make sure you give me a follow. You can check out my website. I have a waitlist list for one-on-one coaching, and I would love to hear from you too if you want to message me either on Facebook or Instagram. But I hope you are empowered. Have an awesome weekend.